You always have ups and downs, and everybody does, so I'm not any different than anybody else. Now, I've had a couple accidents that having the right mindset has helped me. I had a couple of really bad accidents about 3 years ago, back to back. I had a really bad bike accident that left me with a lot of broken ribs and punctured lung and broke my face. And as soon as I got back, healed up from that, I got on one of my horses.
Wow.
I have a horse from Daniel in Tennessee here, and I got on one of my horses, and beautiful Sunday, and the horse reared up and lost his balance. We both went back, and the horse landed on top of me, and it broke my pelvis in 6 places. But more importantly, it broke the 2 main arteries, so I bled out before they found me. And literally, the doctors all said it's a miracle. They'd never seen anybody lose. Lost 20 liters of blood in 24 hours and literally had no blood by the time they got me to Vanderbilt. And they said it was a miracle that I lived. But I was bedridden for 3 months. I carried on my work. I carried on working out and staying fit and shape. I'd get people to hand me weights while I'm bedridden for 3 months. I couldn't get out of bed. Doctors put me back together. I downhill ski, I cross country ski, I still ride horses. Nothing's changed.
A leader has to take the risks. You're on mute, Wade.
Now, where are you located?
I am in Newport Beach, California.
No, beautiful spot.
Yeah. So where are you from, Wade?
I am in right now Brentwood, Tennessee, just outside Nashville, Tennessee.
Awesome.
Yeah, you got a nice tan going there, so I can see you're in there. I'll have one here. I'll have one here soon because I'm heading up to my boat up in New England.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Tomorrow, let's say Friday morning, flying up Friday morning to Boston and then up to Maine. So yeah, hopefully get out in the sun a little bit. It's too hot to get out here in Tennessee right now. So
yeah, my parents actually just got to Nashville, so they're in Nashville right now. So they're there for a few days.
What brings them here?
My dad retired a couple of years ago, and they're just trying to hit every spot that they never hit their whole life. So that was just one place that she wanted to go. So she wanted to come out and
tell your mom
see Tennessee.
Tell your mom to drive out and see a little town just south of Nashville called Franklin, Tennessee. That's my little town where I have a horse farm out there. Mm-hmm. And it's a historic town. It's very historic. It's got a lot of history. It's a cool town. A little main street with shops and restaurants and stuff. It's really cool. It's one of the top 5 small towns in America. So
awesome.
She'll like Franklin. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I will definitely make that recommendation. All right. So we got Wade Shealy with us on Wealth on the Beach podcast today. Really, really excited to have you hang in with me today, Wade. And you're part of this company called THIRDHOME, correct? Is that right?
That's right.
And so you are the CEO founder, and you decided to do this project where you get people to be able to stay in beautiful homes all over the world. And so where did this idea come from? And tell me a little bit about the idea and
Sure.
what it's all about.
Sure. So I started in resort real estate in 1984 in a little place called Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. And one of the things that I, tried to do in selling second home vacation homes to people is I learned how to answer and overcome objections people may have, and got pretty good at it. But notice there's one objection that it was really difficult to answer because it was a real objection, and that was that people might not want to, invest and buy a second home in one location because they like traveling to so many other places around the world and seeing different things. And so they felt like that if they bought in one place, that would be almost like an anchor around their leg, that every time they want to go to vacation, they'd have to go to Hilton Head. And as much, as nice as Hilton Head was, they like skiing out in the Rockies, or they like going to, Mexico or Europe occasionally and things like that. And the other thing I noticed, Daniel, was that people who did buy from us, that they would usually be back in our office within 5 years wanting us to sell their property. And I'd ask them why. I thought you liked Hilton Head. And they said, of course, we've loved it, but we've eaten at all the restaurants. We've done everything here. We just want to try somewhere new. So what they would do is they would sell their home and they'd go buy somewhere else. And they'd stay there for a few years and they get tired of that place and they go buy another place. So, so it dawned on me, why couldn't we create this pool or group of people that all had these luxury second homes, which there's millions of people all over the world. And instead of the people having to sell their vacation home to try somewhere new, they could just go use somebody else's house that's sitting empty, and they don't have to pay rent. And they don't feel guilty that they just spent, $20,000 or $30,000 renting a place when they've got a place, beautiful place sitting empty. So the downturn happened. I was doing real estate development and doing resort development, and the downturn happened in 08, 09, 2010, if you remember that. And was not a good time to be doing development. So I thought, well, let's see, maybe I should start this concept I've had. Nobody had ever done it before. It's the first of its kind. And so I started with two houses, two friends of mine that had vacation homes, and I put those two in. And since 2010, it's grown organically now to almost 18,000 properties. We're in 100 countries around the world, and we're sending thousands of people every month all over the world, and saving people, hundreds of millions of dollars in vacation expenses when they already own a luxury second home.
All right, so I got to wrap my head around this so I get this right. So basically, my second home, I offered up to somebody, and somebody offers up their second home, right? And so
it's better than that. It's actually better than that. You don't have to offer it up to one person. Okay. You put your house in for a week into the club, into the system, Third Home, and I'm going to give you your credits. So we use a credit system. We call them keys. So Daniel, I might give you 10 keys for that week you offer, depending on the value of your house and the week that you offer, because every property has a seasonality to it. So it'll tell you how many credits or keys you're going to get for that week. And you're going to get those as soon as you make the deposit into the club, regardless if anybody ever comes there or not. And then you've got keys or credits that you can go that night to book a property in Italy if you want to.
Wow.
Wherever you go in the system, those people are probably not going to come to your house. I mean, there's a 1 in 18,000 chance, because it's a pooling system that you can just go wherever you want, independent of who comes to your property. And really, that's the beauty. We were the first to ever create that. Used to be, you come to my house, I'll come to yours. And so somebody in Dubuque, Iowa wants to go to Paris, and trying to find somebody in Paris that wants to go to Dubuque, Iowa was pretty difficult.
Right.
Ours is luxury second homes. They're in resort markets. They're only second homes. They're not primary. So you're not staying with everybody's stuff there.
Yeah.
You're not staying, where people live every day. You're staying in somebody's beach house or their ski chalet. And you go, and it's beautifully furnished, and and you have a great week, and all you pay is a small exchange fee to our club for that week. Now, our homes go up to $65 million. So you can stay anywhere from $1 million property to a $65 million property, and you just pay us a nominal exchange fee, which averages about $900 for the week, for the whole week.
And so you're saying that I could pay, I mean, there's a possibility if I'm in the exchange and I have my property, I put my property up, I could literally stay in a $65 million house for $900.
Yeah. And then if it's $65 million, the exchange fee is a little bit more than that.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
It's about $900 for the week. But what happens is you get credits or keys based on the value of your house and the week you deposit. So you might need to give us 2 weeks at your house or 3 weeks at your house to go to a, more expensive home. Else.
Gotcha.
You can save up your keys or your credits. You can give us 3 weeks, and then, you can go online, and whenever you're ready to go somewhere, pick where you want to go and just pay it online, the exchange fee, and you get to go. So we,
so let me wrap my head around this. So I feel like, okay, so the benefit to everyone. So let's just say this guy's got a $10 million home, and the benefit to him is he's thinking, okay, I could go stay all these other different places all over the world, right? I mean, is that kind of what he's thinking? That's why he's willing to do this. That's why he's willing to put his $10 million home up in the exchange, is because he's benefiting from, because it's not like he's getting paid. I mean, how much money is he getting paid?
He doesn't get anything. He gets keys.
He doesn't get it. He just gets keys, right? Okay. So for him to be able to stay other places and not have to pay a lot of money, right?
He might do it for two reasons. Number one is, yes, it's going to save him a lot of money when he goes outbound somewhere else. He's going to save 20, 30. I mean, I went and looked at one of our houses the other day in Harbor Island in the Bahamas, and the people were just leaving that she had rented it to. Now, she just gave us 2 weeks in the club. But I asked her, I said, how much did you rent that week for? And she said it was $100,000 in rental for that week.
Right.
So I'm
right.
$100,000 in rental fees. So they're saving money, number one. Number two is about half of our members and properties don't do rentals. They don't want short-term rentals in their house, but they'll do third home because the people staying in their house are doing the same thing with their house. And so if they don't take good care of it, they're not a good member. If they don't treat it like theirs, they get kicked out of the club. So we have no issues, essentially no issues with people staying in these homes. And we've done, I think, 70,000 exchanges, and there's been no issues with people because people treat it as good or better than they would if they, than their own home. I went to a house in San Francisco to hold a party for our team, our members, and I got into the house, and the owner had left us 7 bottles of very expensive wine, and the refrigerator was stocked full of food. And we certainly drank his wine and ate the food in the refrigerator. But that was just the type of thing, that our members do when a guest has come to their house. They literally a lot of times leave bottles of wine or food in the refrigerator for you because they want to be a good host, because they're rated as a host, and then the guest is rated as well. And we look at the rating system and make sure everybody's being a good member in the club.
And is there is there any insurance involved at all? I mean, am I insured if somebody does come into my second home or my, whatever, my third home, and am I insured at all through the program?
Yeah, we have a $15 million insurance on every exchange. Although I can tell you that we've never really had to use it. Occasionally somebody might break a wine glass or something, but they'll go buy 4 beautifully hand-painted wine glasses and leave as a gift, type of thing. So we do carry the insurance, in case something does happen, but it never happens.
Yeah. And so, and what about, I mean, tell me about what's one of the craziest, houses that, and where are they located? I mean, what's some of the nicest homes that you have? And are these put up by, you don't have to mention their names, but I mean, I got to imagine there's got to be some celebrities in this exchange and some really, really successful people in the exchange.
Yeah, we do. We have some well-known people, from well-known musicians to Formula One racing stars to actors, actresses in the club. We have a little bit of everything. The unique thing about the club is if you want a 1-bedroom in New York City, and you just want to stay at the St. Regis and have a 1-bedroom at the St. Regis, we've got that. If you want a house in Argentina that I went to that sits on 100,000 acres and is a Malbec vineyard outside of Mendoza, Arizona, up by the Chilean border and the tallest mountain in the world outside the Himalayas. You've got that too. So you got a little bit of everything in between. We have yachts. Some of our yachts go up to about 150 feet. All the yachts come with a full crew and staff. And then we also have catamarans, a significant number of catamarans around the world in different ports, which are very popular for our members as well. We have old castles in Europe. Or we have, small beach houses in Hawaii. Whatever you're interested in, we probably have it in the club.
And so the membership, how do you get approved? What's the protocol as far as getting approved is there a membership fee that you pay every year? How do you get approved in this thing? And what sort of things do you look for?
So from a approval standpoint, we do a background check, make sure that we don't have any felons, staying in people's houses and things like that. And occasionally we have, had to turn a couple of people down for that. But then the main thing is you have to have a house that qualifies that we want into the system. So the house has to be of a certain standard. It needs to be in a destination that people want to go to. Like we don't have any properties in Branson, Missouri. I'm sure Branson, Missouri, nothing against Branson, Missouri, but it's just not our members, or nobody's ever requested, I want to go to Branson, Missouri. I mean, we probably only have a couple houses in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Nothing wrong with Myrtle Beach. It's just not our group. Now, people like going to, Kiowa and Charleston and places like that in our club. So we try to make sure, the popular areas for us are Aspen, Colorado. We have 600 properties in Aspen in the club, because people love going to Aspen. It's a high destination area. So we have all the Ritz-Carlton residences there, which are ski in, ski out at Aspen Highland Mountain. So a member can go to Aspen and for about $900 stay in a ski in, ski out 3-bedroom at the Ritz-Carlton, which, you can price that out and you might pay $30,000 depending on what week it is for that same property. So those are the qualifiers. You have to, be a good standing and have a desirable home and a, luxury second home in a desirable area.
So really the difference between like an Airbnb situation is, this is more just like these properties are getting rented out all the time and every single week, in the high, seasons, they're getting rented out all the time. In your program, where it differs is it's a little bit more where, your property may never get rented out, or it might get rented out a couple times a year or something like that. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah. And we don't use the word rent. We just use the word exchange because
yes,
there's no money changing hands to no contract, which is important to know, Daniel, because as you know, being in Southern California, there are places now they're putting rental restrictions on places. And so we fall under that radar because you're not renting. There's no money, there's no contract. You're just you're letting a guest stay there like you would your, friend of your aunt's or something,
Right. So
a lot of places, that's the only thing people can do outside of staying in the home themselves is to do third home. Yeah, I mean, a lot of our houses you couldn't find on a rental platform. Paramount Plus has a 6 1-hour TV shows running on Third Home right now all over the world. It's called Millionaire Holiday Home Swap. And I think it's running in Australia right now. But they did 6 1-hour TV shows that they're running through Paramount Plus that really features a lot of the homes that you could never rent. I mean, these homes are exquisite, fun homes, and they follow the people staying there. And, it's pretty entertaining, but it also shows you the types of homes we have in the club.
And where do you see this? I mean, do you see it evolving? I mean, do you have competition right now? I mean, how do you see this market expanding in the next 10 years? What's your thoughts?
So we don't have any competition right now, but I imagine there will be at some point. I believe that 10 years from now, Daniel, very few people will buy a second home or vacation home without joining a club like Third Home. It won't make any sense to have an asset sit empty like that most of the year and then go somewhere else and pay people a lot of money to rent a place. It just won't make sense. So I believe that 10 years from now, pretty much every resort real estate agent will be connected to a club like Third Home that will offer that when people purchase the home. They'll buy a home at Malibu or Kiowa Island, South Carolina, and with that will come a membership to Third Home or Fourth Home or Fifth Home or whatever that allows people to travel the world. Because I think that we'll hit a tipping point that enough people will be doing it that people go, wait a minute, I'm going to buy a second home. I want to make sure I can do that travel too, because that is an issue, for people. So yeah, I think there'll be other companies probably coming out and doing it. We're partnering right now with real estate agents. So if a realtor's listening to this podcast, they can go to Third Home, and there's a little place up in the right-hand corner. It says real estate agent. They can click on that. They can represent us, and they can, every client that they offer into the system for free, there's no cost to join, which you asked me about a minute ago. We charge a $295 annual fee after the first year, but there's no cost to get into the club. And the real estate agents can offer this out to their clients, and for every one of their clients who signs up, they get a vacation themselves. So it's a win-win. So we want to partner with all the resort real estate agents out there and give them a benefit as well. So we want to grow with them. And then a lot of short-term rental companies are now offering this through their short-term rental platform. We just worked with the company in Los Angeles, the Myman Group, who does high-end luxury rentals, short-term rentals. And so they're offering out to their clients. So between the real estate agents and the short-term rental companies, we hope to stay a leader in this field. Yeah.
All right, man. I got a little side question here. If you were able to switch homes with a historical figure, who would that be for you, man?
Well, we do have a couple of homes in the club that have some history to them. There's one that was what was his name? The stutterer took his brother took his place as the in England, and there was a movie about him. But his brother married Wallace.
Oh yeah.
Simpson, or
I know who you're talking about. Yeah. The guy they made a movie about. He was a famous politician.
And his brother stuttered. He was the king.
Okay. Yeah.
And they had to teach the brother how to speak. And so I've been to that house. I can't remember. Wallace Simpson, that was her name. He married Wallace, and she was divorced, and that did it for him as the king. And he was in the Bahamas. He went to the Bahamas and became, I think, the governor of the Bahamas there after that. And so that house is in the club, and that was kind of cool. It's in the Bahamas. It's interesting. So I've been to several of our houses, Daniel, and every one of them has a little bit of history to it. It's fun to learn the history of some of these houses. I've stayed in one in Italy that was 400 something years old, and we took like 12 couples. I went to another one in Italy recently that we took 12 couples. It was an incredible home, and I learned about the history. They took these people like years to build this house in Puglia. I'm trying to think of some of the other houses around the world.
Do you have any houses in Sardinia? Because I'm going to Sardinia next month. So
yeah, we actually do have beautiful properties in Sardinia. You need a house?
Well, I mean, I already have them booked already. We're on the north end, and then we're going to travel down to the south end. So we're staying for about 10 days in Sardinia. So. But
we've got beautiful homes in Sardinia. Yeah. We got beautiful homes all over Greece, and
well, it got me thinking because I did want to look at properties when I was there. So I was just thinking, if I actually buy a beautiful property over there, then I can stick it into the program, and it would be fantastic. So no, I think it's a great idea. I think this is something that a lot of people, it would be attractive to a lot of people that already are in that space. They have, somewhere that's exclusive, or they have a beautiful home somewhere in an attractive area that they could stick it into the program. It just makes, it's almost too good to be true, right? Because for you to be able to stick your, $1 million home or $500,000 home or whatever into a program in a beautiful spot, because there's, you can get some beautiful homes right on the beach in Bali for $500,000, or, and so there you could, but to be able to have a home like that, but then at the same time be able to travel somewhere else and be able to stay in a $10 million home, I think it's really attractive for I think it would be attractive for a lot of people because, and not to mention the reason why I wasn't a big, let's go buy a house somewhere, is because I'm one of those people that I like to stay different places. I've never bought a timeshare because I never wanted to go to the same place all the time. And so I'm an Airbnb guy where I'll look for Airbnbs all over the place. But but
You
to
know,
have
in the
to have the
time,
property that's building equity over time, and you know what I mean? So that's why you would do it.
so part of the reason I started Third Home was that in the timeshare world, you mentioned that, Daniel. I never worked in that arena, but I saw that in the timeshare world, people didn't want to go the same week that they bought every year. And so there were two companies out there that did the exchange platform for timeshare owners. One was called RCI, the other one was called Interval International. They both had 10 million members traveling with their timeshare unit. So I thought, well, if that's appealing for people that own a week, why wouldn't it be appealing to somebody that owns 52 weeks a year in a place? They bought the whole thing. They've got a lot more time sitting empty. So, and a lot bigger investment. And so that was the thing I didn't understand, is why nobody ever did it. They did it for the timeshare, but they never did it for full ownership. And so that's one of the reasons I actually started the club, was that I just saw a huge market for it. And for the real estate agents who are selling resort real estate, this really answers that big objection for them, because whether they say it or not, that's what they're thinking. Do we want to come to Hilton Head every time we vacation? And maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, and that's anywhere, right? I mean, I think I'm gonna love Sardinia, but I don't want to live in Sardinia. You know what I mean? I don't want to feel like I got to keep coming back to this house all the time. And, to be able to, I want to travel other places, man. I'll stick that thing in the membership, and then I can just go wherever I want to go the other parts of the year, So, I mean, it makes total sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like whenever I travel, I stay somewhere for a week. And after I leave that week, I sort of feel like I can check that box. I don't need to go back. I did it,
Seriously.
Glad I didn't buy a place there, because I felt like, a week was good,
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I did a week. I feel good. I visited all the different sites. I want to go check off another box. I mean, my goal is to hit like 100 countries. So that's, kind of the where I'm at in my life. And so I'm doing a lot of traveling. But look, what was I'm just kind of curious to know a little bit more about you as a human, as a person. And like, what was your childhood like, man? I mean, what were you like growing up? I mean, were you a good kid, a bad kid? I mean, because I read people really well, and I'm just curious to know if my brain is correct, because so tell me about yourself, man.
Well, you probably wouldn't want to ask my mom, what kind of kid I was. She'd probably tell you, pretty wild growing up. But when I went to college, grew up in a small town in South Georgia. Family couldn't afford to put me through college. They put my sister through, but they said, you're on your own. So I went to University of Georgia and was in landscape architecture there, and had to figure out a way to make enough money in the summers to pay my own way through college. So met a guy in college at Athens, and he told me about selling Bibles and dictionaries door to door, and said it was pretty hard work, but if I worked hard, I could make a lot of money. So I didn't think I was much of a salesman, but he didn't seem like much of a salesman either, and he did pretty well at it. So I signed up to go do it, and they sent me that summer. I didn't have a car. I went to Claremont, New Hampshire. Dang, I went door to door, about 100 hours a week. I'd start at 8 in the morning, go to about 10 at night, doing 30 demonstrations a day, straight commission, paid all my own expenses, and made really good money my first summer, and came back, told my friends how much money I made, and they're like, well, damn, if you can do that, I'm going to go, So I took out 25 friends the next summer. We went to Oklahoma. And so by the time I finished college, I had 250 kids in my organization. And I was making a lot of money selling these books and teaching other kids how to do it. And I worked for that company. The company's been around about 180 years. They're here in Nashville, Tennessee, the oldest private company in Nashville. And back then we had 7,000 kids doing it every summer. So that's how I worked my way through college. I sold Bibles and dictionaries door to door. And,
wow.
Not only was it good financially for me, but Daniel really taught me a lot about people, but probably more than anything, taught a lot about myself, perseverance and not giving up, and setting goals and that type of thing. So I've sort of used that through my career. And I've stayed in real estate my whole life. And as an entrepreneur in real estate doing developments, you take a lot of risk, and you have your ups and your downs, and you have your challenges. And sometimes things go good, sometimes they don't, and so that background, probably doing that for that many summers in college, probably was the best thing that ever happened to me as far as helping me today, still today, with my career and both with life too.
And when you look back on your life, I mean, what's one of the biggest failures that you've had? Or I know nobody likes to call failure anymore. It's always a learning experience, but you know what I'm talking about. I mean, what's one of those times where you just thought, shit, am I going to make it through? And that's where that perseverance kicked in.
Well, you always have ups and downs, and everybody does, so I'm not any different than anybody else. Now, I've had a couple accidents that having the right mindset has helped me. I had a couple of really bad accidents about 3 years ago, back to back. I had a really bad bike accident that left me with a lot of broken ribs and punctured lung and broke my face. And as soon as I got back healed up from that, I got on one of my horses.
Wow.
I have a horse farm, Daniel, in Tennessee here, and I got on one of my horses, and beautiful Sunday, and the horse reared up and lost his balance. We both went back, and the horse landed on top of me, and it broke my pelvis in 6 places. But more importantly, it broke the 2 main arteries. So I bled out before they found me. And literally, the doctors all said it was a miracle. They'd never seen anybody lost 20 liters of blood in 24 hours, and literally had no blood by the time they got me to Vanderbilt. And they said it was a miracle that I lived. But I was bedridden for 3 months. I carried on my work. I carried on working out and staying fit and shape. I'd get people to hand me weights while I'm bedridden for 3 months. I couldn't get out of bed. Doctors put me back together. I downhill ski, I cross country ski, I still ride horses. Nothing's changed. So a lot of the things, I guess, from a learning process through my life, I've been able to apply to situations that we all have. We all have setbacks, and we all have injuries, and we all have things in life that put us back. But it's really your mindset going forward that allows you to overcome those issues and rebound from them and move forward in a positive direction.
So you were selling Bibles for a lot of years, man. You think God had anything to do with it?
Well, I don't, I think God has a lot to do with everything in our lives, but I think what God gives us a choice is our mental attitude in how we handle things that are given to us. God doesn't decide not to give Daniel any problems today or give any issues today. That's going to happen because that's just part of life, but it's how Daniel or Wade handles those issues and problems that's so important. And, controlling your thoughts is the ultimate discipline. If you can control your thoughts, then there's nothing in life that can get you down, because your thoughts are the reality. And so no matter what happens to you, whether it's you break your pelvis in 6 places, or you have a setback in business, or your wife leaves you for somebody else, or whatever happens, which all these things happen to us in life, is how you perceive that and move forward with it. And all that happens right here, between your ears is where it happens. And you can control that. You really can. It's hard, but you can control it. And so, I would say that, I believe in God, and I believe God has a plan for all of us, but I think that God wants us to control what happens to us on a day-to-day basis,
Well, I mean, that's the free will of thought, man. I mean, he gives us the free will to have that will to fight on, to keep moving forward. And I've been telling people for as long as I can remember that whatever you think about, man, with purpose and courage and discipline and determination and passion, is ultimately going to become your reality. I mean, it's the thoughts that create the, everything that's happening in our life. All right. Good thoughts, you're going to tend to have more good things happen to you. Bad thoughts, you're going to tend to kind of spiral into that world as well. So I don't know. I think being positive and staying motivated and of course, visualizing the things that you want in your life I think you're more apt to get those things and to create that life that you want if you're thinking the right way, if you're thinking positive. Man, I a lot of negative people, and I look at their life and I go, man, no wonder your life is, not that good. It's because your thinking is so bad.
Yeah. Well,
So yeah, I mean,
it's
yeah,
not what happens to you, it's how you react to what happens to you, because stuff happens to all of us. I mean, if somebody thinks that they're just unlucky or things happen to them, then that's their problem, because all of us have stuff happen every day. I mean, I
yeah,
could go get my car tomorrow and back into somebody or hit somebody, with my car. I mean, stuff happens. That's just part of life. That's going to happen. So it's how you react to what happens that's important. And so, people have a tendency of blaming, God, or, why does it always happen to me? They don't realize that we all have issues. Everybody has issues. Everybody has things in their family, their life, their business, but it's how you react to it that's the key.
100%. You're right on, man. I love that attitude. How did COVID affect you guys back in 2020?
Well, it's interesting. It came on us, and we switched gears pretty fast. Daniel, what we did is we started immediately promoting drive-to places where you could stay a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. You could pack your kids up in the car, pack your groceries, and drive 2 hours from Newport Beach, California to, you could go out to Big Bear, or if you're up in the Bay Area, go to, Tahoe or somewhere that you could stay for 2 or 3 weeks. Everybody was looking to get away. Everybody was working from home. Nobody was going to the office. Kids were out of school. And so drive-to markets were valuable. And so we had so what we did is we tried to hook people up. I'd say, Daniel, here's all the places you can drive to in Southern California. You'll be there in 2 to 3 hours, load the car up, and stay 2 weeks, take your laptop and go. And so we did well, but we just had to switch gears.
Well, that's the power of just being flexible, man. And when you look as far as in the future politically, do you see that does the political climate play any as restrictions or challenge? Is this caused any challenges for you guys at all, or do you foresee any challenges in the future with different administrations or things like that?
Yeah, I mean, not really politically as much as it is economically. If the market does change economically, which it could, and it always does, then we actually do better in a down market than we do in a strong market. And the reason we do that is twofold. Number one is people are a little bit more concerned about just throwing extra money away. I mean, if they've got a second home, the last thing they want to do is pay $30,000 to rent a place if they work for Lehman Brothers and Lehman just went under,
Right.
and they'll have a job. So when things are tighter, actually people are more conservative about wanting to save their extra cash, number one. Number two is the rentals are not as strong. And so there's a lot more availability in the short-term rental houses. So people have more weeks to deposit into the system because they're not booked as much from a short-term rental standpoint. So we get a lot more deposits in a downturn, and people are trying to save more money when they go outbound. So we don't wish the economy goes bad, but if it does, I actually started the club in a downturn, and that was a strong time to give us, start back in 2010.
So you guys have been running this thing for about 14 years then, right? Is that about right?
Yeah, we've never had debt. We've never taken on any debt, never taken any private equity money. The beauty of our model is we're kind of like an Uber. We don't own any houses. We don't rent any houses. We don't fix any issues with the house. We don't even clean the houses. We're a platform. And so our expenses with marketing, technology, we do have a little bit in development cost for the platform. We have personnel, about 70 people here in the office that around the world. We have an office in Europe, in Marbella, Spain. We have one in Australia, and then we have one here in Nashville, Tennessee. But outside of that, it's a platform. There's a technology and a marketing play. A lot of the companies have come and gone in a little bit around our space, but they buy the houses. They get stuck in a downturn. They rent the houses or long-term lease the houses, and you probably know some of the players I'm talking about. And they've had some challenges, and a lot of them have gone under. Us, we're positive. We make money. We're positive. We have no debt, and so we kept it where we've grown organically and kept pretty lean.
And it's interesting. You said Marbella, and I was just on a podcast not too long ago. They interviewed me. Marbella Way. I don't know if you heard of this podcast, but anyways, they're realtors over in Marbella, Spain. So and they're in the luxury market in Marbella. So Marbella is beautiful, right? Yeah. I mean, this place is incredible.
The difference over there is that you think about it, Daniel. You got all these different countries that speak different languages. So when we have an office there, we have to speak about 7 or 8 different languages because somebody may call from Germany, somebody may call from Spain, somebody from Italy, somebody from France. And so you have to have people here in Brentwood, Tennessee, we're doing good to speak one language, and that's pretty questionable. But over there, you got to speak a lot of different languages to do business. So it's a little bit of a challenge over there, but we're figuring it out. And we just opened a new office in the Gold Coast of Australia. I just got back from there. My girlfriend's Debbie Fields. She was in the cookie business, had a cookie company called Mrs. Fields Cookies, if you remember that.
Yep.
And so Debbie and I travel to around the world a lot, hosting parties for Third Home. We like meeting our members. So we just this year, we've done parties in Cape Town, Singapore, Dallas, Nashville, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Melbourne, Sydney, and the Gold Coast. And we love Australia. We think it's a great market, and open an office down there, and hope to get thousands and thousands of properties in the club down there. I think we got about 500 right now, but I hope by the end of this year, we'll have a couple thousand down there.
Well, I have some friends. I just got back from Philippines and Australia. So I have some friends in Philippines and Australia. So I'll make sure I'll spread the word about Third Home, and we'll tell the world about Third Home. So we'll make a splash. So there's no question, whatever you're doing, you're going in the right direction. I think, I really like talking with you because, you just have this peaceful, I don't know, whatever it is, this aura about you that just, you just got it. Whatever it is, man, you got it. And you're doing something great, and you're really making an impact. And what a cool thing when somebody comes up with a new, innovative way to do something, like you said, is like Uber, right? Figured it out. And Airbnb, they figured it out, right? They found a problem and they came up with a solution. And so the question I have, though, is that with all of that and it just being such a great idea, are there any objections? Like, what would you say is a main objection that you still might get with Third Home? Are there any objections that you get?
Not really. I mean, occasionally somebody may say, I don't want to go anywhere but where my second home is. And I can't imagine that. There's so many beautiful places in the world. You just want to go to the same place over and over, or maybe somebody has, 20 homes around the world already and they don't need to use somebody else's. I don't know, but very, very seldom do we get that. One of the things that's really unique, Daniel, about the club is that when I say club, it's a true club. Not only is it an opportunity to travel, but our members get to know the other members in the club. So that's the reason I fly around the world.
Love that.
Host these parties, and we'll have 100 to 200 people come to each of these parties. We let them meet each other. I get to know them. Debbie and I love meeting the members, and maybe part of that aura that I have when I talk about Third Home is that I love the club. I love our members. I love the people. I love getting out and meeting them. We do fun events. I've got one of our members is playing for, I've got 200 people coming to my horse farm in October. They're all members in the club. And we got one of our members is Kenny Loggins, if you remember Kenny.
Yeah.
Danger Zone, wrote Danger Zone.
Of course.
And Caddyshack. But Kenny will be playing in October for a couple hundred of our members here. But we love getting together and having parties and events, and we do adventures. I curate about 15 adventure trips a year that are one-of-a-kind adventure trips that usually Debbie and I go on, maybe 3 or 4 of them every year. We took a group to Cuba with Mariel Hemingway which is Ernest Hemingway's granddaughter, and she spent 2 weeks in Cuba with us. Small group of us, just showing her grandfather's Cuba, and of course, she's a beautiful actress from Hollywood, and she's great. Great spending time with her. I took 14 guys on BMWs and Ducatis all through Europe as fast as we could go, and did a lot of countries in Europe on motorcycles. Debbie and I got back last year from 3 weeks in Africa doing safaris with some of our members. So it's a fun group. It's more than just an opportunity to save money with travel. It's a fun group to be in, and we love getting our members together, and people do call it a club. I mean, they feel like it's one of the most important clubs that they're members of, just like they might be a member of a golf club, or their college alumni. They love Third Home.
Well, I love that part because I'm big into longevity, and for me, I'm always learning. I mean, that's why I'm looking at Sardinia, because it's one of the blue zones. It's, people live the longest. It's one of the longest living, are the most centenarians in the world. And as I study longevity, obviously our health, I mean, what we eat, exercise, keeping muscle on our body, these are things that are important. But I think one of the most important aspects is social. And when you look at the people that live the longest, it's because they have friends. They have social clubs. They go to parties. They're a part of events. They know people. They have acquaintances. And I love that. I mean, I have a feeling me and you are going to become very good friends.
Yeah.
Because I love to travel, but I also love the social aspect of it. And that would be very attractive, I think, to a lot of people. I think, just the service alone is fantastic, and you could save a lot of money. But I think that is one of the biggest selling points, at least that I've heard all day long today. Yeah. That was it right there. I mean, that sold me, because when you could be a part of something, everybody wants to be. I mean, I built a financial services company. We have 1,500 agents, and my whole career I spent having retreats and events and parties, and you name it. We traveled all over the world together, and so that's what you're talking about is very, very attractive. But it's also because I would imagine the average member in your group, they're probably between 40 and 60, I would imagine. And I think that's an age where, man, we all want a group of people to hang out with and to be able to build new relationships and make new friends and have adventures with. I think that's wonderful. So good for you on that. You're not only saving people money, but I think, truthfully, I think you're gonna help people live longer by what you're doing. I mean, this is a longevity play for you, big time. This is huge.
Yeah, I mean, I love the fact you're into the blue zones. I love the blue zones too. I'm sure you watched the documentary on recently that's come out that he did on the blue zones. It's a shame that the blue zones are actually are shrinking for the most part, whether it's in Japan or Icaria or wherever, because they're not able to pass the same values down to the next generation because of the influence of the culture and the people around these young people today. They're not eating the same as their parents. They're not doing some of the same things, whether it's walking a lot, or being a shepherd or whatever. Some of those things are dying. And so one of Debbie and I have a goal that we want to go and live for a month in each one of the blue zones while they're still there, to not just read about it, but to actually experience it. Because I do think that probably within, the next generation of the blue zones may be gone. They may be non-existent. The blue zone may only be in your own household, after that. So, the more we can learn, and like you, it's not how long you live, it's the quality of life you have while you live. I don't want to live to be 100 if I'm not in good shape to go enjoy it. So the goal is to stay in great shape, like you do, work out, eat properly, live your life, get lots of sleep. I mean, that's one of the things right now that I'll be 69 this year. I can, I can still probably bench press more than most 29-year-olds. But, sleep is important at my age, get a good night's sleep, and then doing whatever you can from a supplement standpoint. I've got 2 doctors. I went to one yesterday. I'm doing blood work tomorrow for another concierge doctor I have. Take as many types of things as you can to not only live longer, but also, enjoy life longer,
Right.
And so there's things you can do out there, as you know.
Well, a lot of people, yeah, a lot of people, they make all this money and they become successful, and because that's really what wealth on the beach means. I mean, that's our play on words. It's wealth on the beach is just a visual for everybody to see that, life is you don't want to. It doesn't mean that I don't ever want to work again and I just want to sit on the beach and do nothing. But it really just means that freedom to do what you want to do when you want to do it. Yeah. And that's what wealth on the beach means. And your third home is really just that. It's like when you have freedom to be able to travel to all these different places around the world. Do you have any houses? I'm just curious. I just came to my mind, but do you have any houses in Slovakia at all?
I don't. I think we do.
I live. Check that out. Send me a message, and because you have my cell. But I'm just curious because I lived there for 2 months last year. So
I have to look and see. I think I don't want to say for certain, but I think we do. I'm heading to Debbie and I are heading to Croatia.
Oh, beautiful.
September the 8th of this year. To spend time in Croatia, get more business over in Croatia.
Okay.
It's a real popular place for us. We've got a lot of gorgeous homes. The house we're going to, they actually, pick you up at the Split Airport and bring you by boat to the house because it's right on the water there. So, it's kind of cool. So we got some meetings over there to get more we got quite a few in Croatia. It's really a popular area for us. But I'll check that out for you and let you know.
Yeah, check that out, man. Well, I'll tell you, Wade, I think we could do another 3 hours together, but I'm going to let you go. And before I do, though, I want you to, well, first of all, I want to tell everybody to make sure that Wade's going to tell you where we can reach him. But I really want to encourage everybody, reach out to Wade. If you know anybody that has a second home that maybe they're not using, encourage them, especially if it's in a good area and a beautiful home. Encourage them to reach out to Wade and be a part of the membership program. So I know that I'm going to be looking very deeply into becoming a member as well, because I love it, man. This is like, I actually been looking forward to this conversation because, I just am curious. Anything travel, I love. I mean, I want to see the entire world. Matter of fact, I'm going to take an Asian trip in November. I'm going to be turning 50, if you can imagine, Wade. I'm going to be turning 50 years old this year, man. And I'm in November 22nd. I'm going to be 50, and so I'm going to hit China and Japan and Vietnam and Bali, which those 4 places I've never been. So that's going to be my 50-year-old present to myself. I'm going to do it first class all the way around, but for sure, I'm gonna definitely be telling everybody about what you're doing.
Let us try to set you up on one of our properties over there. We have quite a bit in Asia. But yeah, people could go to thirdhome.com and just fill out a little bit of information, their name, address, email kind of a thing, and one of our people will be in touch with them. And if you're a real estate agent and you sell real estate or know people that have second homes as a realtor, go to thirdhome.com and look at RE agent up in the top right-hand corner and just sign up. And that way, every referral you give us, you get a trip yourself taken care of. So that way, we love real estate agents, and we love, helping them sell more real estate.
Yeah, well, no question about it. I know a lot of realtors. Matter of fact, a lot of realtors watch my channel. So for sure, that message is going to come, definitely come across to all of them. And we'll do everything we can over here to make sure we promote you. We'll definitely put out a couple of videos in the near future, and we'll have you on YouTube everywhere. And but if you're watching, please do me a favor and reach out to Wade, even if it's just to say hi, even if it's just to say, hey, thank you so much for, I know Wade is going to love hearing from all of you, just letting you know how much you appreciate the wisdom and advice that he gave us today. So, I mean, what a total champion you are, Wade. What a total winner you are, man. What a great life story you've built. And I'm going to be rooting for you every step of the way. And so congratulations to all your success for you and your family and your company. And we'll pray for continued success in the future. So with that said, everybody, continue to dream bigger than ever. Get after it. Most importantly, man, you got to get after it. And then, but you got to make sure in the end, you got to make that decision to do it now. So God bless. We will see you at the top.